welcome to tonight's ordeal. A little introduction, I think, is in order for the artist you are about to witness this evening. He was born on the 30th of March, 1853, 29-ish. He was a Dutch post-impressionist painter who posthumously became one of the most famous and influential figures in Western art history. In a decade, he created about 2,100 artworks, including around 860 oil paintings, most of which date from the last 2 years of his life. They include landscapes, still lifes, portraits, and self-portraits, and are characterized by bold colors and dramatic, impulsive, and expressive brushwork that contributed to the foundations of modern art. Not commercially successful, he struggled with severe depression and poverty, eventually leading to his suicide at age 37. Ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce Mr. Wolf Loescher. Thank you for that introduction. Welcome to my home away from home, McGonagall's Mucky Duck. You are here, I am here, they are there, hopefully. And this has been an evening over 20 years in the making. Since the last time I graced this stage, this august stage, with my own august presence as a solo artist. And I would like to thank Rusty and Teresa for believing in me all these years and giving me the opportunity to come back and triumph. And thank you to all the howlers out there who made this possible. And so we're going to start out the evening, as we usually do, with a shot of vitamin T. So raise your glasses. Here's to you all for being here for this album release. Thank you. Cheers. Now, after me, 1, 2, 3. All right, now that we dispense with that. You are here for an album release. And boy, am I glad that you're here for this. This album came to fruition in interesting times. Remind me later on to come back and say, it's been 20 years, and some stuff has gone on since the last time I saw you 20 years ago. And so we'll get into that later, but this album kind of came out of some stuff that I went through, but here I am, and here you are, and I'm going to play the whole album from front to back, and then I will take a brief pause for questions and perhaps a wardrobe change, and maybe a fresh drink, and then I'll play some more. So that's what we're doing, but we're going to do the album from start to finish, and we're going to start off with a song of hope that really resonated with me back when I did it with Jiggernaut. It was written by Miss Deanna Smith Scotland, wrote the words, I wrote the music. So, here we go. Come from every corner, speaking every tongue, brought here by a vision of what is soon to come. No longer will we stand for hatred, bigotry, and fear. The call of peace and justice is what has brought us here. This world that we've been given is not so long a place that we can stand divided by philosophy or race. Where's the truth and beauty dwell in every human heart? United we are more than we could ever be apart. United we are more than we could ever be apart. We are come from the ancient souls of those who came before. We take what we've been given and set out to search for more. much more than we had planned. Love is all-encompassing, and the circle must expand. Love is all-encompassing, and the circle must expand. Speakers and the wise ones who led us to this place call on every one of us to beat love's human face, to rise up from the shadows, to turn and face the sun, to carry out the work that was so long ago begun. Each man must look inside himself, each woman make her choice, stand against injustice, to raise a common voice, to cast aside the petty fears that chain us to the past, to give our children's children a legacy that will last, to give our children's children a legacy that lasts. We are carved from the ancient souls of those who came before. We take what we've been given, then set out in search of more, much less than we could be, much more than we had planned. Love is all-encompassing, the circle must expand. Love is all-encompassing, and the circle must expand. We are carved from the ancient souls of those who came before. We take what we've been given, then set out in search of more, much less than we could be, much more than we had planned. Love is all-encompassing, and the circle must expand. Thank you. I forgot my tambourine. It's a rather personal question for this so early in the evening. Photos where it didn't happen. Hey, what happens at the duck stays at the duck. For those of you at home who are wondering what the audience was asking me, my good friend Ruth over here was asking me if I have the goat testicles. A gentleman never tells. Anyway, I'll do a song about fire science. How about that? So this is a song, it's a true story. All the songs are true. All my introductions are lies. And it's a great song by a great Canadian singer-songwriter, James Keelahan. And it's written from the perspective of, well, the guy who wrote A River Runs Through It. You remember that guy? McLean, I think his name is. And he was interviewing the chief, the head of the crew, of the smoke jumper crew, that jumped in on the Man Gulch fire, which was a disaster that happened in the late 40s, early 50s, in Montana. And what happened is it was kind of an untrained crew, and this seasoned guide who was there, the guy who was in control of things, trying to find the exact right word, and you know, he's the chief of the crew, head of the crew. And he jumped with these 15 people out of the plane, but unfortunately only 13 of them came back. And so he's telling this story to the author 10 years after the event, where he's in the hospital dying of Lou Gehrig's disease. And, you know, the author wanted the skinny on what happened at the Man Gulch disaster, and so that's what this story is about. So confession, is that the reason that you gave? Get it off my chest before I check out another game. Now you mention it, well, there's 13 things I'll name. 13 crosses high above the cold Missouri water. August 49, North Montana, the hottest day on record. The forest tends to dry, lightning strikes in the mountains. I was crew chief at the jump base. I prepared the boys to fly. Pick the drop zone. C-47 comes in low. Feel the tap upon your leg. It tells you go. See the circle of the fire down below. 15 inches drop above the cold Missouri water. I gauged the fire, I'd seen bigger. Poured it down the side hill and we'd fight it from below. We'd have our backs to the river, and stand beside him, even if we took it slow. But the fire ground jumped the valley just ahead. There was no way down. We'd have to fight that ridge instead. Too big to fight it. We'd have to fight that slope instead. The plains one step behind above the cold Missouri waters. The sky had turned red. Smoke was boiling. 200 yards to safety, death was 50 yards behind. I don't know why, I just thought it. So I struck a match to waist-high grass, running out of time. I tried to tell them, step into this fire I've set. We can't make it, this is the only chance you'll get. But they cursed me, ran for the rocks above instead. I lay face down and prayed above the cold Missouri water. Like a phoenix, and that world reduced to ashes, there were none but to survive. I stayed that night, and one day after, carried bodies to the river, wondering how I stayed alive. 13 stations, all across to mark their fall. I've had my say, I'll confess to nothing more. I will join them now, those left me long before. 13 crosses high above the cold Missouri water. 13 crosses high above the cold Missouri water. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, on to track 3. So this is a song about the traveling people, and you know how they used to make their living any way they kind of could. They would show up itinerantly and do crops, or you know, sharpen knives, or tell dad jokes, or you know, whatever they could make money from. And this is a song I learned from originally from the Corys, and I heard another version from the Battlefield Band, who I've seen on this very stage. So I sit in the puddles of giants. Wait a minute. I dreamed a dream the other night, a dream of long ago. I saw in the traveling folk along the open road. His step was light, his head held high to catch the scent of spring, and his voice rang round the countryside as he began to sing. Oh, come all ye tramps and hawker lads, ye gatherers of blood, that tramp the country round and round, come listen, ain't and on. I'll tell to you a roving tale, those sights that I hae seen, far off into the snowy north and south by Gretna Green. I've traveled round the Lothian lands, I've seen the rushing spade, I've been by Crieff and Canada and by the shores of Loch Tay. I've watched the rain on the border hills and the mist in northern glens, and I've bedded dew beneath the moon in Corey's Navy Ken. And I'm often down by Galloway and Roden, Balstrin Rock. My business takes me anywhere, sure I travel near and far, for I've roving in my blood, and there's nothing I do like, as long as I've my daily fare, it plays upon my back. I'm happy in the summertime beneath the bright blue sky, never thinking in the morning and night where I will lie, old barn or fire or anywhere, or out among the hay. And if the weather does permit, I'm happy every day. I think I'll go to Paddy's Land, I'm making up my mind, for Scotland's great, the altered now, I can't read the wind, but I will trust in Providence, Providence proves true, and I will sing of Erin's Isle when I come back to you. Ah, come all ye tramps and hawker lads, they tramp the country running road, come listen, ain't and on. I'll tell to you a roving tale on sights that I hae seen, far off into the snowy north and south by Gretna Green. When I had awoken from my dream, the dawn song had begun. The birds sang out their old songs to greet the rising sun. I lay among the shadows and I thought of days long gone, and those wandering tramps and hawker lads whose days are surely done. Thank you. Thank you so much. So here's a song from my very good friend, Miss Mary Morong, who is an aviation fanatic. Aviation aficionado, if you want to be alliterative. And this is a song about a man with a rather intimate relationship with an ancient restored aircraft. This is a song about a man who rebuilt a Supermarine S5, which at this time was the fastest seaplane, and they used to have races. It was called the Schneider race, and it won these races. And then when World War II comes along, they actually used the Supermarine S5 as the model for the Spitfire, which you may have heard of which you may have heard. Excellent. Thank you. And so this is a song about that. This is by Archie Fisher, one of the best singer-songwriters and guitar players in Scotland's history. So. Bill Hosey built a plane, survivor from the Schneider Trophy race. Seemed like a nice old guy with his baseball cap and his sun-slit eyes. He took the airframe, motor, and wings and restored all the fabric, the floats and straps and things. And the shark on banana skis was heard to roar once more over Cornwall Sea. Schneider race, it was a Supermarine that took first place. The year Bill Hosey was born, where there's still tall ships sailing round Cape Horn. The S5 Supermarine was the fastest seaplane the world has ever seen. Nearly 300 miles an hour with an Napier inline engine to give her power. Daughters flew in World War II. Their pilots were known as the first of the few. The Battle of Britain raged. The Spitfire blazed across a history page. Bill Hosey built a dream to haunt the skies with the ghost of a Supermarine. And she rose on the step again in the spirit of a Schneider Trophy racing plane. To the cold spring air, with Bill Hosey sitting in the pilot's chair. She banked along the Cornwall shore. Her tail broke away and she flew no more. She fell from a flight of grace the year they revived the Schneider Trophy race. And the Supermarine S5 was the plane that made Bill Hosey feel alive. I'm drinking a Rusty Nail, named after the proprietor of this great establishment, Mr. Rusty Andrews, if you're back there. So if you are willing to try one or want to try one, what it is, it's Drambuie, which is a Scottish liqueur from the Isle of Skye, and then whiskey. I happen to use Irish whiskey because that brings both my sides together, Irish and my Scottish. Then I eat a Blutwurst. Sorry. Sometimes I just open my mouth and these things come out. Mm-hmm. It does. So here's a song about big blackfish. So we know here about, industries changing, we're still very big into the oil industry here, but, in Canada, there was, they were big into whale fishing, of course, in the 1800s and on, and then that went away, and then the oil industry came up there to Alberta. So you had a lot of these fishermen who couldn't find jobs who moved to the center of this country in the big prairies in Alberta, and that left room for some people to come back and reclaim their rightful territory. And this is a song about that by Uncle Stan Rogers. Well, it's Blackfish Play in Hermitage Bay, from push through across to Wass Island. They roach and they spout, they lift their flukes out, and they wade to a town that is dying. Now it's many's the boats that had plied on the foam, hauling away, but there's many more fellas been leaving their homes where the whales make free in the harbor. It's at Portage in Maine, you'll see them again on their way to the hills of Alberta, with the lopsided grins. They'll waggle their chins and they'll brag of the wage they'll be earning. And it's quick, pull the string, boys, and get the tool out. Haul it away, haul it away. Just 2 years ago you could hear the same shout where the whales make free in the harbor. Free in the harbor, the blackfish are sporting again. Free in the harbor, untroubled by comings and goings of men. Once dead pursue them as oil from the sea, hauling away, now the Calgary roughnecks from Hermitage Bay, where the whales make free in the harbor. Well, it's a living they found deep in the ground, and if there's doubts, it's best they ignore them, nor think on the bones, the crosses and stones their fathers decayed there before them. In the taverns of Edmonton, fishermen shout, haul it away, but there's 300 years buried up by the bay, where the whales make free in the harbor. Free in the harbor, the blackfish are sporting again. Free in the harbor, untroubled by comings and goings of men. The ones dead pursue them as oil from the sea, hauling away, now they're Calgary roughnecks from Hermitage Bay, where the whales make free in the harbor. Free in the harbor again. you. This is wonderful. It's like being in my living room, except I've got pants on. This next one has spawned a T-shirt, thanks to my good friend Sydney in the back there. I do this. I started doing a live stream on Facebook during the pandemic, and initially didn't go so well. And I was very frustrated. I was very uptight, and so I had one of these kind of uptight performances on the internet, and Christina, my lovely wife Christina, who makes all of this possible, she said, "You're just too uptight. Just go out on the front porch and sing a song, and we'll put the video on or not. Just sing a song. Just relax, and have the shot of tequila, and then sing a song." And so I did that, and it was on a Wednesday, and it was around 8 o'clock local time in Longmont, and I finished my song, and I hear all these wolves. It's like, have we been invaded? Is the zombie apocalypse upon us? And so it turns out there was a tradition, I think it was started in Denver, where people would go out on their balconies or open their windows and howl to support the first responders during the pandemic. I think this was back in May. So I, always a person who can spot a good marketing gimmick, said, So I started doing a regular, instead of a performance, I call it a musical hangout, because I just hang out and I play some songs, and I try not to get uptight, and I laugh with people. And because initially when I said I'm going to do a solo album, it's like, but then I have to go up and play by myself, which feels very uncomfortable and pretentious, frankly. Who wants to come out and see me, So, thank you. Other than you people who I paid beforehand. And so that's how I got over this thing about being a solo performer. I'm not really here by myself. I'm not up on stage by myself. I'm here and you're here. And it's about making a connection and about sharing stories and drinks and beverages and getting through. So I'd like to dedicate this to all my howlers, my regular attendees of that Saturday night. And it's still going on every Saturday at 7 o'clock Mountain Time, 8 o'clock Central Time. Join me on Facebook. And there's a lot of great people that we've met, not only in America, all across America, but also in Ireland. We've had people from Spain. We've had people from, I think, Uranus? Is that right? Sorry, I told you, dad jokes. What was that? And dogs. Dogs as well. Yeah, that's right. And sneezing dogs. So that that thing. Anyway. This is a great song of Scottish pride. I have to say it like that, pride. And the T-shirt has some of the words in it. Thank you to Sid for the suggestions. So I'll do the chorus up front, so you know what it sounds like, and you can bellow along the 37 other times we'll be doing it. But first, I will remove the capo because I don't need it on this one, and then I'll check tuning. See, that's what I should have been doing while I was telling the story. That's why I tell stories, is so I can tune. Tell us about the T-shirt. It's a wonderful T-shirt. It's made of 100% yak hair, free-range yaks, organic, free-range, bespoke, vegan yaks. And on the front of the shirt, it says soirees, parties, kind of in small words, and then large, blazoned across your chest, elegant balls. We're all 12-year-old boys inside at heart, Again, the goat testicles come up. All right. We'll start with the chorus, as I said, and it goes a little something like this. I have that on my. It's like, I don't know. Oh, all your satins, your silks and your shawls, your soirees and your parties and your elegant balls, for a dance in the barns, or 10 in the hall, when the lads were reared among heather. You want to try that again? Oh, all your satins, your silks and your shawls, your soirees and your parties and your elegant balls, your dance in the bars, your tent in the hall, when the lights were reared among heather. Come on, you young lasses, where have you been? Say sleepy and drowsy, I can buy your ear. In all the wide world, you'll never find a friend like the lads who were reared among heather. Oh, oh, your satins, your silks and shawls, your soirees and your parties and your elegant balls. We're dancing in the bar, we're down in the hall, when the lads who were reared among heather. Take a walk round your cities, our buildings outside, gaze on their splendors and wonder with pride. Fine ships have been built on the banks of the Clyde by the lads who were reared among heather. Oh, wowie, your satins, your silks and shawls, your soirees and your parties and your elegant balls. We're dancing in the bars, we're ten in the hall, by the lads who were reared among heather. This next verse is for Scotty over in Edinburgh. When the Queen needs some soldiers, she kens where to send, to the mountains and the valleys, the hills and the glens, their bonnets and plaids, right through to the end, right the lads who were reared among heather. Oh, wowie, your satins, your silks and your shawls, your soirees and your parties and your elegant balls. We're dancing in the bar, we're ten in the hall, with the lads who were reared among heather. Now England can boast her sweet-scented rose, and Ireland can boast of the shamrock she grows. But give me the land where the clear water flows, and the mountains high cover we heather. Oh, wowie, your satins, your silks and your shawls, your soirees and your parties and your elegant balls. For a dance in the bar, we're ten in the hall, and the lads who were reared among heather. Oh, wowie, your satins, your silks and your shawls, your soirees and your parties and your elegant balls. For a dance in the bars, ten in the hall, the lads who were reared among heather. Ha, he said elegant balls. Oh, this isn't NPR. So thank you so much for being here. It's a real treat. It's a real treat. And technically, this is a not chronologically correct song. But if the album had come out before pandemic, this would have been a perfect time to sing this particular song. And so my son, who's now a junior in high school, Yeah. And he's still sticking Thomas the Tank Engine trains up his nose. No, he is in high school, and we were driving around, and I live in Longmont, Colorado now, as you may or may not know. Come visit us. Even the new dog is older than that. But when we drive in the mountains, we always put on John Denver, because that's what you do, you know. You get really stoned and you go put on John Denver and drive in the mountains and go off a cliff. No. But that's part of the e-ticket of the Loescher visit to Colorado is we get you. People leave that. Like they go out to the dispensary because it's legal there. They go buy stuff and they leave it all there because they don't want to take it on the plane. So we have this like really nice. Somebody bought me a really nice bottle of whiskey, which I of course drank, and so we stick it all in there because it really off gases. It really this scent, you know, and so anytime you come, it's like, here, take your selection of these, and then we're gonna go up into the mountains and play John Denver at you at mind-splitting illegal volumes. And so when we were driving in the mountains, my son, the Hero King, as he likes to call himself, THK, come back. All right. It's all enticement or entrapment. I can't remember which. And yeah, so the Hero King was in the back seat, and John Denver comes on, and he says, "Hey, is that Dad singing?" And my heart grew 3 sizes that day. But a big part of sheep's clothing is the Venn diagrams that make up my musical DNA. You know, I've got Scottish, I've got Irish, I've got Americana and like 70s folk stuff and sea shanties and klezmer music and musicals and all. So I tried to get everything together to kind of like create a tapestry, if you will, an outfit that would fit me and would sound good, and you would buy it. So, but you don't have to buy it because everybody who's here got download code. And if you already have it, feel free to give it to a friend and let them download it. Okay. So, John Denver, you know, rest his soul. When I grow up, I want to be John Denver. But he wrote a suite of songs about the seasons, and this is one of them. Silently, the morning mist is lying on the water, captive moonlight waiting for the dawn. And softly, like a baby's breath, a breeze begins to whisper, the sun is coming, quick, you must be gone. Smiling like a superstar, the morning comes in singing the promise of another sunny day. And all the flowers open up to gather in the sunshine. I do believe that summer's here to stay. Do you care what's happening around you? Do your senses know the changes when they come? Can you see yourselves reflected in the seasons? Can you understand the need to carry on? So many ways and oh, so many things. Rejoicing in the differences. There's no one just like me. Yet as different as we are, we're still the same. part of everything I see. And oh, I love the life around me. A part of everything is here in me. A part of everything is here in me. A part of everything is here in me. Thank you. Boy, do I love singing for you guys. Thank you so much for having me here. This is really nice. As I said, I put on pants and everything, so. Thank goodness for small favors. Yes. Of course, I can't see you very well because of all the lights, but that's all right. You what? Well, that is the point. You know, you actually paid money to see me. I didn't pay money to see you. And nevertheless, I persisted. So here's, there are many songs about the king shilling, you know, young men on farms, you know, who think that going off and joining the army is a glamorous life. Yes. There's a wonderful book that I'd refer you to. This is what happens on The Howl. I'll just go on these tangents, on these asides, and half an hour later it's like, oh, I'm supposed to be singing a song, aren't I? So there's a book by Terry Pratchett, who's a wonderful, Sir Terry Pratchett, wonderful, wonderful author. Anyway, it's called The Monstrous Regiment. And he has this, he writes about this alternate reality, which is the disc world, where everything is sort of like what we are used to here, but a little different. And it's about girls who go and sign up to be soldiers because they have no prospects, or they're running away from something, or they're trying to find their absconded lover who left them with half a sixpence, and she's got the other half, and she's going to damn well find where that guy went off to and scarpered. So, Monstrous Regiment, there you go. Plug for Sir Terry Pratchett. So, this is about the king shilling, where you'd be given a coin, which is more than people would often see in a year, and they'd get a nice fancy uniform, which would be, of course, be sure to get them the attraction of the fairer sex, and they'd be in Berlin by Christmas time, or the equivalent thereof. And Scots did this a lot. Scots fought for the English all over the planet. And my friend Scotty is one of them. Scotty over in Edinburgh. I don't know if he's watched tonight, but here's to Scotty. Here's to the Highland regiments that you know, did what they did. You know, if the history you read doesn't make you feel uncomfortable sometimes, then you're not reading the right kind of history, because there are no clean hands. And so on that note, as I was all walking by the Yugi one day, I met Sergeant Gary by chance on my way. He says, Johnny Gallagher, you're a handsome young man. Come down to Yugi with me for a dram. Well, we sat in the alehouse, just tacking word around. He says, Johnny Gallagher, you prove you're a man, but you lest and tag the bounty and come away with me, far over the ocean, strange places to see. Put a hand in his pocket and a shilling he drew. Take this, my brave laddie, and ye will never row. Is then I was enlisted and a bargain was made. And the ribbons they were brought and put on my cockade. And a curse on that sergeant, his lying tongue. A curse on the day that I followed a drum. One next day in the guardroom and the next in the jail, with the cardboard nor blankets they wrap myself in. Lots on my uncle, wherever he may be, for he was the first man that ever ruined me. Had he been an honest man, had it learned a trade, but never would have listed nor worn the cocky. No, I never would have listed nor worn the cocky. So there was a line in there. You will never rue. You never. Whatever. But we have rule here, and which reminded me. I connected it. Ruel. I know it wasn't Rue, but it was Ruel. But Ruel is the sister of a very important person who is celebrating their annual Orbit Awareness Day, and that's Betsy Cummings in Dallas, a very wonderful person all around, but also a wonderful singer and accordionist and musician, and one of the main driving forces behind the wonderful North Texas Irish Festival. Every year, the first weekend of March, and I played it virtually last year, and I very much look forward to playing it non-virtually this year. So come up to Dallas. It is a wonderful event, and as we can see, these people here, it is a family. It is an expanding circle, just like us here. So I'm so glad to have that. So
happy Orbit Day.
Happy Orbit Day. That's right. I spent a lot of my time in Texas, in Central Texas. I wasn't born here, but like other people, I got here as fast as I could, I guess. And I grew up in a place called Georgetown, where I was just visiting my mom this afternoon. It's north of Austin. And then I went to college in Austin, and then I moved here. And so Texas is also in my musical roots, and so here's a song that brings that together. So. If I had a boat, I'd go out on the ocean. And if I had a pony, I'd ride him on my boat. We could all together go out on the ocean. I said, me, Paul, my pony on my boat. Now if I were Roy Rogers, I'd sure enough be single. Couldn't bring myself to marry an old dad. Just be me and Trigger, go riding through them movies, and we'd buy a boat and on the sea we'd sail. If I had a boat, go out on the ocean. If I had a pony, ride him on my boat. We could all together go out on the ocean. I said, me and Paul, a pony on my boat. Now the mystery masked man was smart. He got himself a Tonto, 'cause Tonto did the dirty work for free. Tonto was smarter, and one day said, Kemosabe, kiss my ass, I bought a boat, going out to sea. If I had a boat, go out on the ocean. If I had a pony, I'd ride him on my boat. We could all together go out on the ocean. I said, me a pony on my boat. If I were like lightning, I wouldn't need no sneakers. I'd come and go whenever I would please. And I'd scare 'em by the shade tree, and I'd scare 'em by the light pole, that I would not scare my pony on my boat out on the sea. If I had a boat, go out on the ocean. If I had a pony, ride him on my boat, and we could all together go out on the ocean. I said, me upon my pony on my boat. Let's hear it. And if I had a boat, I'd go out on the ocean. And if I had a pony, I'd ride him on my boat, and we could all together run out on the ocean. I said, me upon my pony on my boat. Set me upon my pony on my boat. To quote my lovely wife, boat, boat, boat. All right. A lot of sailors in the audience. So, as I said, I always do that, like in Colorado, say, oh, big port town, here we are in Colorado, So this is a song by Mr. Tom Lewis, who I saw at, is a wonderful shantyman, modern sea shantyman. He's English and then Canadian, and now he lives on a barge in Ireland. Not really, you're not going to be tested on this. It's just for information, so just so you know. Anyway, this is a song that he wrote, and it's wonderful. And so I'll sing it for you now. A little more verb on the vocal, if we could. That's not the right. Let's try that again. Professional show business. Inside every sailor, you'll find a young man itching to get to sea soon as he can, to see all them pretty girls, dusky and brown, and to get far away from his boring hometown, and to get far away from his boring hometown. Inside every sailor's heart, you'll find a girl who is constant and true. She's a jewel, a pearl, but she's like any other girl. Happy or sad, it's just this one's in love with a wandering lad. It's just this one's in love with a wandering lad. Inside every kind of ship, black, green, or gray, there are men with their eyes fixed on things far away. Beyond the horizon, ahead or behind, will the dream that they're searching for be what they find? Will the dream that they're searching for be what they find? Inside every sailor, you'll find an old man with rose-colored memories of where he began, where he dreamed of pretty girls, dusky and brown, and he longs to get back to his boring hometown, and he longs to get back
to his boring hometown.
So, thank you so much. Another person who has graced this very stage. Make it work! Make it work! Twisted! I'm twisted! All right. Stand by. Wardrobe malfunction. And I got the mute on. Good. Okay. This is the part I don't practice very much. See? What? Okay. Now that we've effectively transferred to a different instrument. He said instrument. One of the people who was on the stage is a man named Ellis Paul, who was a wonderful singer, songwriter, guitar player, and I saw him here first, and I heard him play this song, and 20 years later, I decided I'd been wanting to record it for all that time, and so I did. And it's got references to Houston, so it's even better. So. I'm from Norfolk, Wisconsin. I've been living out of a suitcase now for 14 days. I walked the boulevard in Hollywood, thought a Vegas show was no good. Then a dancer there and started a Broadway play. But it's a lonely world from this Greyhound. Believe me, I've been here 14 days. Just say I'm old enough to get away. Back in school I found the only written truth on bathroom stalls and telephone booths. I studied a while, but college got in my way. I've learned much more from the back of this Greyhound. Oh, believe me, I've been here 14 days. 3,000 miles, I come a long, long way. 3,000 miles, have you seen where we were put here for the learning? And it's yours. Well, the world outside is turning. People talk to themselves on Greyhounds. Even the driver's strange to hear. They tell the same forgotten story. Well, they fall on forgetful ears. 3,000 miles, I've come a long, long way. 3,000 miles. Down in Houston, Arkansas, this woman with 2 kids and a bottle of booze. And she cracks them both like match heads whenever they venture too close to a fuse. And I sat with a girl from Boston. We were playing cards for cigarettes. I lost her name in a poker game, but her face I'll never forget. You'll never forget the news on these windows. Believe me, I've been here 14 days. I've come a long, long way. Thank you. Go away, this thing. I'm not sure why that came up. There we go. Go away. Just go away. I don't know. I don't want. Sorry. Now I'm having technology issues on the stage. Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, I got this wonderful new iPad, and then I did this thing that I don't know how to undo. Go away. Yeah, totally. Okay. All right. This is really getting annoying here. Well, I did this. It split screen on me, and it's like, I fixed it. Thank you very much. That'll be all. Jesus. Okay. There has to be a first time for everything, and it has to be in front of God and everyone. So there we go. So we come to the last track of the album. And then I'm going to just refresh myself a little bit. And what? I will have a cocktail. But I will play some more. But this is the last. This brings us to the end of the actual album release portion of the show. And this is a wonderful song by a good friend of mine, Beth Patterson, who is now Beth Paxton, Bad Beth. She has her own religion, She's the Bethodists. If you've not got the chance to see Beth, you should absolutely. She is a force of nature. Yep. And she wrote this song, and again, it seemed very prescient. I love her writing. She's a big Rush fanatic. So that's one of the things we linked together very early on. And but this is a song about finding that inner power, that righteous anger that is necessary when your tambourine falls off your foot. No, that is there. And we tap into that, and sometimes we have to go out and fight the good fight and make good trouble. And that's what this song is all about. So once I make sure I'm in tune, I will do this wonderful song that closes out the album. There are a lot of people to thank for making this album happen. Among them, Scooter Muse, who is a wonderful engineer and guitar player, so all that wonderful stuff. Also, my vocal coach, Sid Carroll, is back there. And also, one of the people who actually made it possible is also here. And his name is Kyle Jocko, because he actually got into my Kickstarter campaign. And I kind of, as a joke, put up there, hey, for $1,500, I'll come and play a house concert wherever you are in the continental United States. And so, after all this time, I'm going to be playing at Kyle's house on Saturday. But thank you, Kyle. This album couldn't have happened without you, and to all you other Kickstarter people. And so this abates my onus. I'm finally going to be free because I'm going to start a new Kickstarter campaign on Sunday for the next album. So
Did you say this abates my onus?
I did.
That's amazing.
It is.
Very good, Christina.
So, okay. So, thank you so much for being here. This takes some fire. When the weeping willow grants you a place to grieve your loss, fire-crusted healer sees its bones shame. You've performed great miracles that no one seen. So I'm going to start that over again. I'm sorry. That's what we call in the trade a mulligan. More fire. I was also out of tune, so that gives me an opportunity to fix that. So Everybody, yeah. All right. Take two. We can edit this out. We can edit this out. Just look away. Look away. Now I'd like to present. Take some fire. When the weeping willow grants you a place to grieve your loss, when the fire-crested heather sees its balls of shame, when the lowly worm turns silent in the pot of introspection, then you'll find your voice to reclaim. For the weeping willow once lay choking with the deadly blight, and the fire-crested heather once lay frozen in the snow. You too overcome, though your journey will be hard, and you must take some fire when you go. Celebrate your anger, be baptized in your tears, for a wisdom lives within you, as only you can know. Prepare yourself for battle, in your flight into the storm, and you must take some fire when you go. When 1,000 fallen heroes turn against you in the dark, and your guardian angels here on earth turn a deaf ear towards your cries, when you perform great miracles that no one seems to see, and your good intentions fall by the wayside, when the ice turns to fragile in the endless winter night, when below its frozen surface are the memories within, the water will still haunt you, though you give it some release, as a wound must heal to cleanse itself again. Celebrate your anger, be baptized in your tears, for a wisdom lives within you, as only you can know. Prepare yourself for battle, and your flight into the storm, and you must take some fire when you go. Like the kindness of a stranger who sees you safely home, your fury will propel you to that freedom you desire. That spark that once eluded you now illuminates your smile, and it comes when you take fire. When the need for instant comfort leads you to the poison stream, as it strips you of your armor and lances you with pain, when the mask you wear of silence bears a stoic web of scars, there are secrets you no longer can contain. When the phantom terror drains you of the life you never knew, when the spirit of survival is exhausted to the core, when the sadness of unlearning lies behind your tired eyes, of one who's seen it all and then some more. Celebrate your anger and be baptized in your tears, for a wisdom lives within you that only you can know. Prepare yourself for battle and your flight into the storm, and you must take some fire when you go. Like the kindness of a stranger who Thank you. That is Sheep's Clothing. What? Okay. All right. Okay. So. So we're going to do one more song for the encore, and I have to pick one now. So that took a lot longer than I thought. So I have to figure out which one's a good one. Well, actually, Sid, will you join me for one? Okay. So.